Recognize this gentleman? In English, he is called cockroach, croton bug, roach, water bug, or black beetle. The Germans call him Schaben, the French la blatte, and in Spanish he is known as la cucaracha. No matter what the language or country, the cockroach is an unwelcome and disgusting pest in any home.
Hi, this is Robin from Zapper Pest Control. This week we're going to be taking a look at one of the more ancient and prolific pests that we've run into, as well as one of the dirtiest, cockroaches. Now, there are a great variety of cockroaches, several thousand in fact, but really there's about 30 of them that are problematic to us. And of those, there's really about 4 that we run into fairly commonly in our residences and commercial structures that pose a serious health risk or problem. Of those, there are about 3 that are major pests in the Pacific Northwest. That will be the German cockroach, the Oriental cockroach, and the North American cockroach. Cockroaches date back to the Carboniferous, several 100 million years old, and are definite survivors. They've been known to survive Arctic conditions, they can survive desert conditions, and your home is probably a nice space where they can survive quite well due to the food and water sources available there, as well as good harborage sites, which are sites in which cockroaches can live and breathe and create nests. Cockroaches are members of the Blattodea order, which also makes them somewhat closely related to termites, though they both function in different means. They are also well known for having a fairly complex social structure, with the young offspring, the juveniles, needing the adults quite heavily during the first stages of growth. In fact, the German cockroach, one of the more problematic pests in the Pacific Northwest, has the rather distinct and unfortunate nature of the juveniles needing to feed on the fecal matter of the adults in order to survive. Something that we find quite gross and horrible, but to them is somewhat natural. Most cockroaches are largely nocturnal, although can forage during the day. Cockroaches live upwards of about a year, and during that time can produce 300 to 400 offspring. This will usually result from about 8 different egg cases that they will lay, and the juveniles take about 3 to 4 months to reach full maturity. In the case of the cockroaches we have in the Pacific Northwest, they go through an incomplete metamorphosis, which means there are no larval stages for the juveniles. They're born somewhat in a similar shape to adults and merely grow and develop more as time progresses. Some cockroaches can last over a month without food, and they are commonly known to carry various bacteria and things problematic to humans. There are quite a few different pathogenic microbes that cockroaches can carry, and as such they are known as a fairly dirty pest. When it comes to controlling cockroaches and trying to rid your home of them, there are a lot of different options you have. There are some household chemicals that have been suggested for being used on them. Baking soda is one example. Borax is another. Some people will prescribe to garden herbs, cucumber, garlic, mint, things like that. However, there's not much scientific evidence of these being very effective at all. And there are a variety of insecticides that have been proven to be very effective. Pyrethrins, and especially deltamethrin, seem to work very, very well on these species. Of the various species of cockroach that we'll run into in the Pacific Northwest, the most common and the most virulent are the German cockroaches. These tend to be able to lay eggs quicker, they produce more offspring, and they can do it very, very fast, making it a common situation that they can overrun a residence or commercial structure fairly quickly. They do not need much time in order to dominate an area. Oriental cockroaches are also common, but not quite as common as the German roach. The North American cockroach can also be a problem, and looks somewhat like the German cockroach in body plan, but is far less of a pest in the sense that we don't run into them very often. They are native to the region, but have been heavily displaced by the German cockroach, which can dominate an area much, much faster. In pest control, it's a good idea to understand that ridding a structure of roaches is not a sprint, it's an endurance run. It can take many, many, many weeks, sometimes months on end, depending on the nature of the infestation and the harborage sites. But there is no easy method of simply ridding a home of roaches. It takes time, it takes a lot of detail, and analysis has to be completed at each step of the way. If you're having a cockroach problem, by all means give us a call. When dealing with a pest like a cockroach, it's always best to seek out professional help, as trying to go it alone can prove to be a long and costly experiment. Zapper Pest Control specializes in a variety of insects, but cockroaches we are no stranger to.